So just find a nice, comfortable child's pose. Depending upon how your hips are feeling this early starting out. Of course, it's not early. We've all been up for a while, but you know what I mean. So probably perhaps the first physical thing you've done today. If the hips are really tight, your knees are probably going to be a little closer together. If you want a little more stretch there, you can take your knees a little wider. And then you're just going to start to melt forward, fold in. So as you start to lengthen through the spine, you're going to check in here too. So the chest might be a little tight. It might feel better to rest your head on a block or on a blanket. And then just find a place that feels comfortable with your arms. If it's feels good in your body to stretch them forward, you can do that. You can kind of cactus them. Sometimes it's nice to reach them by the sides of the legs. And then you're starting to find a few deep inhales. As you exhale, just open the mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Let the day go, the to-do list go. We're halfway there. We've almost made it through another week. And eventually you're going to just start to find that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath. So that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose, creating that soft rush of air. It sounds like ocean waves. We'll all pretend that we're in Brazil with Neil, listening to the actual ocean waves. We'll try not to scowl at him. It's okay if you do. There's obviously sensation when we come into this pose. We're getting a little stretch. Are there places though where you might be gripping and holding on that you don't need to? So sometimes the inner thighs tense, the face, the jaw tense, the shoulders start to creep up around the ears. So soften in those spots. So stretch where you need to, let go where you don't need to be holding on. Sometimes it's hard to discern what that might be, but just play around with that, get curious. And just another moment or two here, just soaking up these initial quiet moments here in our practice, kind of just setting the tone as we start to move and flow this next hour. For the time being, you don't have to worry about anything. Go ahead and stretch your arms forward. So reach them pretty far forward, spread through your fingers, press down evenly into all 10 knuckles. You're thinking downward facing dog arms here. And in fact, you're going to feel your forearms lift up off the mat ever so slightly. From here, rock up to your tabletop. And we're going to come into a little puppy dog stretch, a little anahatasana. So this can be really intense. So you're just going to go to the extent that you're able to in your body. Important to keep the hips stacking over the knees. And then you're going to slide your hands forward, walk the hands forward. Start to melt the chest down. So you might be able to get your chin to the floor. Most of us are not going to be able to do that. You could be resting head on blocks. You could be resting the chest on a block. We're just going to take about 5 breaths here. Keep stretching those sit bones up towards the ceiling. You're going to feel this in the shoulders, upper outer arms. You're going to feel this in the thoracic. This is like the antidote to staring at a Zoom screen all day long. Good. So nice deep inhale. As you exhale, so your forearms are down, keep pressing down into the forearms. Start to shift your shoulders over your elbows. And then you have the option here, curl your belly in. You might just stay here like this, little modified forearm plank. Maybe you curl your toes under. If you're curling the toes under, you're reaching the heels back, you're stretching the chest forward. Hips should be in line with your shoulders. So make sure that your stance is long enough. You're gonna feel this in the core. And again, knees down on the floor is an acceptable variation. From here, as we exhale, we land on our belly. And then we're gonna just keep the hands planted where they're at. So we've just naturally transitioned into a Sphinx pose. Make sure that the tops of the feet are pressing down. Roll a little bit more to the outer edges of the feet. And then put your brain in your glutes. Squeeze them a little bit. Outer hip squeeze in so you're getting that support. It feels like you're going to slide the mat back with your arms to your hands, even though the arms are staying planted. And then here we're going to start to lower down. You're going to slide your hands back. If it's available in your body, you're going to interlace your hands at the small of the back. If you're hyper flexible in the elbows, you're going to keep a little bend in the elbows. And then lower onto your forehead here. If this isn't happening in your shoulders, you're just reaching your arms by your side. All right, so feel your chin tuck in towards your chest. So this is a little different than what we usually do. Keep that feeling. So keep tucking the chin in as you lift up, and then start to drag your knuckles towards your heels. You're not going to be able to lift as high, but it's going to stretch a different place, kind of in those inner shoulders by the neck. Keep anchoring down into your feet. Breath smooth and steady. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Good, and then chin is tucked. Good. Release your hands. Fingertips come underneath your shoulder heads. Go ahead and bring your gaze forward. Make sure those elbows are squeezing in. So we're just in classic low cobra here. You're not pressing into your hands to come up. Instead, feel this heaviness in the tops of your legs, in the hip bones and the pubic bone. Beautiful work. From here, pull back to your child's pose. 5 breaths. So we're just going to do that little sequence again. We're going to kind of thread it together a little more so you know where we're going. So a few more good breaths here. Reaching out through the arms. Feel those shoulder blades kind of squeeze in towards each other. And then so arms are reaching forward a lot as you inhale. Rock on up. Keep your hips above your knees. Start to walk your hands forward. And lowering down to the forearms. You might already find that things are opening up a little more. So you can melt your chest towards the earth. You might still be feeling pretty tight, in which case you're propping this up. You're backing out a little bit. Good. On your next exhale, keep rooting down into your forearms. Shift shoulders over your elbows. Engage the belly. Stay here like this or curl your toes under. Fire up the legs a lot. So in our forearm plank, this definitely builds a little heat. Gaze can just be an inch or two in front of your fingertips. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower down onto your belly, tops of the feet press. You can even squeeze your big toes in towards each other. Keep firming down into your forearms. Gaze just in front of you so we're not throwing the neck back too far. We're not tucking here. We're splitting the difference so the back of the neck nice and long. Nice, Laura. Good. As we exhale, we roll down. Change the interlacing of your fingers. So grab the way that feels a little funny. Start to tuck your chin in towards your chest. Hold on to that. So we're not going to come into as big of a back bend. We're getting into a different place. Inhale. Start to lift the head and chest up. Keep tucking the chin. If you can't see me, you're doing it right. Maybe stretch the wrists towards the heels a little more. Good. Keep the heart and chest lifted. Release the hands, fingertips underneath your shoulder heads. Bring your gaze forward. So again, that nice long gaze. Front of the neck, back of the neck. Feel nice and even. Elbows are squeezing in here. Really feeling all of this, this core work happening, this strengthening using those back muscles. And then from here, we're going to press to our tabletop. Curl our toes under. Coming into downward facing dog. And then just take a moment to kind of tease this out. Just find any movement that feels good in your body. Welcome, Ches. So you can pedal back and forth between your feet. You can shift your hips from side to side. Maybe it just feels best to be quiet and still. All good options. And you're moving in that direction. Once you've kind of fidgeted everything out, let the neck lengthen so your ears line up with your biceps. You're gazing between your feet. And you're checking to see that the feet are about hips distance apart. A little bend in the knees is always nice, especially if the hamstrings or the lower back is tight. And then feel those forearms squeezing towards each other. You don't need to look forward to do it. Just find that. Notice how it turns the upper arms on. You start to widen a little more across the backs of your shoulders. Good, Neil. And then nice and slow, start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Take your time. Feel each step you make. As you inhale, you can either have fingertips on the floor or hands on shins or thighs. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Good, Annette. As you exhale, fold in. Let the back of the neck lengthen and release. Press into your feet. Feel the arches lift. Take your arms out wide today if you have room to do so. Good. And then come all the way up. Palms press, gaze up. As you exhale, take the arms out wide again. And then just come to your Tadasana mountain pose and maybe exaggerate this a little bit today. So it really feels like you're getting that external rotation at the arm where it meets the shoulder. So you might even, kind of depending upon how you're built, how flexible you are, it almost feels like you're going to spin those palms to face all the way behind you, but you're doing it the way that's hard. Good. The more you do that, the more you're going to feel those shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. All right, so we start to move a little bit here. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. Good. Exhale. Fold in, arms out nice and wide, and they can still kind of be forward of you. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot way back. Land onto that left knee. Make sure you're not on a tightrope here, so perhaps you need to walk your right foot off to the right. If that back knee is tender, slide a little blanket underneath there. Good, and then hands come up to this front thigh. Inhale, arms reach out again, out and up. All right, and then we're gonna do our pull down, so bring your palms to face towards each other, make fists. As you exhale, it's like you're pulling through molasses. Keep that openness across your heart and chest. Try to squeeze the elbows in towards each other behind your back. Inhale, press up. Good, exhale. Come on down. Good, inhale, press up. One more, exhale, come on down. So kind of like an isometric stretch here, and we're trying to open up the front of the body. Inhale, press up. Good, as you exhale, pull down, but think cactus arm. So you're only coming to halfway here, and then you can release your fists. And we're gonna start to squeeze our elbows in towards each other. So again, just move nice and slow. So exhale. I like to count on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Palms and elbows touch. Inhale, open up. Press elbows back. Feel that lift of your sternum. Nice work. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, open up. One more. Nice work. As you exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, open up. Good. Stretch the arms up overhead. Good, and then we're just gonna take a little twist here, an open twist. You're gonna root your left palm down, press to the inner edge of your right foot. Start to reach that right arm up. Shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other, and this should just feel nice. Feel those shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Gaze can be down, forward, or up. Beautiful work, everyone. Deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. Curl your left toes under, Firm that thigh up. Keep your hips this low. Step back to your plank pose. All right, take an inhale here. As you exhale, you can do full plank lower onto your belly or come to your knees. Pass through that chaturanga, so elbow squeeze in, lower onto your belly. Tops of the feet press here. As you inhale, find your low cobra. If you are ready for an up dog, drag hands back. Press into the tops of your feet. So shins, knees, thighs lift up. From your low cobra, press to your tabletop, curl your toes under. From up dog, just roll over your toes. Good, take a nice deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. And then we take our second side. So as you inhale, lift that left leg. Exhale, step that foot through so you're on your right knee. If it's tender, if you're on a hard surface, give it a little padding. I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna get my knee on my mat. All right, practice what I preach. And then rise up. Do make sure that you're on train tracks here. So walk that left foot off to the left if you need to. And then find that sensation of arms really externally rotating. Arms reaching up, beautiful. Okay, so bring palms to face forward. Make those fists nice and slow. Keep outer hip squeezing in, especially this right one. That glute is engaging. Exhale. Pull down. And it feels like you're gonna just squeeze those elbows in towards each other behind you. Inhale up. Definitely a little bit of balance going on here too. So if that's happening in your body, it's nothing wrong with that. Nice work, everyone. Exhale, pull down. Good, inhale, press up. Good, and then as we exhale here, we come into those cactus arms and you can just stretch your fingers out. So keep the elbows lifted in line with your shoulders. Deep inhale. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, open up. And exhale, 5, 4. Muscles are engaging a lot. 3, 2, 1. One more. Inhale, open, lift of your heart, and exhale, 5, 4. Everything squeezing in. 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale, stretch arms up. Very nice. And then we move into that little open modified twist here. So root down into your right palm. Your hand could always be on a block. Press to the inner edge of your left foot. So keep squeezing that arm into the midline. And then spin to the left. Really try to get this lowermost right rib involved. Breath smooth and steady. Beautiful work. These look great. Laura's ponytail is going to blow away in the wind. Good one. We're deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind. So palms press on either side of that left foot. Curl your right toes under, firm that thigh up. Good, and then as you exhale, you're gonna step to the top of your mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. As you exhale, fold in. Good, inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. And I should have done this at the beginning of that, but go ahead and make sure that your strap is unfurled or whatever you're using and at the top of your mat before we move into that second side. Good. All right. So just kind of adding on a little more, getting into the shoulders a little more as we inhale, arms reach up. As we exhale, we hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. Good, keep left foot forward this time. Reach that right knee way back. So that same setup, just a low lunge here. Gonna grab your strap, rise on up. So make sure that you feel stable, feet hips distance apart. All right, so
I've done shoulder humblers with you guys. So that's where we're kind of like going back and forth and then release down. So I actually want you to be a little tighter on the strap, in a little closer. So I don't know, like maybe you're 4 inches on either side of how wide your shoulders are. So I don't want you to be able to go all the way back. So you're in a little more. Fired up the arms a lot here. Okay, we're gonna take a nice deep inhale. Keep pulling out on the strap as you exhale, pull back. It's only gonna be about a quarter of the way and you're gonna feel this deep, deep stretch. Inhale, back up overhead. Exhale, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, release down. Inhale, strap comes back up. Stretch it, it's like you're gonna pull it apart. Exhale, reach back about a quarter of the way. It's a deep, deep stretch on the inseam of the armpit. Good. Come back to center, the inhale. Good, exhale. Release down. Nice, in, you're like, what is happening to me? Sorry, inhale up. Good, exhale. Stretch back about a quarter of the way. Keep your gaze forward, maybe even look up a little bit. Inhale. Come back up to center. And then here, we're gonna come into cactus arms. So again, you're gonna energetically pull the strap a lot. As you exhale, start to bend the elbows. Strap releases by your head. Oof. Inhale up. Keep pulling, keep pulling. These are so good. You guys are doing beautiful work. As you exhale, pull down. One more. Good. Inhale, press up. As you exhale, you pull down. Good. Inhale, reach up. And then you can just move your strap off to one side or the other. Plant your palms. Curl your right toes under. Keep your hips this low. Step that left foot back to meet your right foot. We take an inhale here in our plank pose. Good, and then your choice. You come to your knees or you do your full chaturanga. You pause at halfway or you come all the way down. Good, inhale into your low cobra or upward facing dog. Beautiful. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. All right. As you inhale, your right leg lifts. As you exhale, you step that foot through, land on your left knee. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Come on up, grab your strap. Same thing. So just kind of flossing a little bit here. So pulling the strap apart. Good. As you exhale, keep arms straight, keep pulling. You're only going to go back about a quarter of the way. Bring your gaze slightly up. Feel that lift of your sternum. Inhale to center. Exhale. Release down. Inhale. Strap comes up overhead. Good. Exhale. About a quarter of the way back. Ooh, maybe things are starting to open up a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. Come on down. Feel that left glute fire up. Inhale up overhead. Exhale. Lead it back. Good. Inhale up overhead. And then we do those little cactus arms. So vigorous on the strap as you exhale. Elbows start to bend. That feeling that they're going to squeeze in towards each other. Inhale. It's like we're using our strap as a little barbell. Is that what they're called in weights? You know what I mean? Exhale down. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, press up. Good. And then again, just move your strap off to one side or the other. Hands plant. Curl your left toes under. We're going to step that left foot to meet the right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. We're going to do one full cycle of that. We're not going to add the arms in. We're just going to flow here and enjoy how that feels. We're going to enjoy the openness in our heart. All right, so here we go. As we inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in, and you're probably feeling some heat. Enjoy that. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Right leg stays forward. Step your left foot back. Let's keep those toes curled under. So we're gonna inhale, rise up. Full crescent pose. You can have a little bend in that back knee. You can have that back knee down too, that's fine. As you exhale, palms plant, hips stay low, gaze stays forward. Shoot that right leg back. From here, pull back to downward dog or take your chaturanga vinyasa, whatever that looks like. You can always mix and match. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, pull back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Strong legs carry you up, crescent pose. Feel that lift, that openness across your heart and chest. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As we exhale, hands come together at your heart. Almost there. Inhaling, reaching, take up space. Feel that openness in the shoulders. As you exhale, fold in. Feel inner thighs spiral back as sit bones reach up towards the sky. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Left foot stays forward. Step your right foot back. Inhale. Take your arms up into your crescent pose. Nice work. As you exhale, palms plant. Keep your hips this low. Shoot your sternum forward as you reach your tailbone back and step into your plank pose. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, pull back downward dog or take a chaturanga vinyasa, whatever you need. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step your foot through. Inhale, strong legs. Feel that openness in your heart. Rise up, crescent pose, beautiful. As you exhale, hands come down. Step your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Good, inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Pause here, just a breath or two, close your eyes. Check in, notice how you're feeling. So we've created a little heat in our body. So now we're gonna move towards the yin part of our practice, a little different than when we're doing our flow. I think most of you have done this. So yin, we're stretching more into the ligaments, the joints, the fascia. So we're not necessarily always so concerned with alignment, but we do come into these poses and we hold for a lot longer. So hence all of the props, and I'm gonna give you lots of variations. So you've kind of opened up the chest, the shoulders a little bit. I wanna start basically in our supine butterfly pose. So you might know this as Supta Baddha Konasana, and you can just watch here before you get into anything. So I'm gonna give you a few options. So you might just be here like this, classic. For many of us, there's a lot of tugging that happens on the lower back when we do that. So you want to take some blocks underneath your knees or thighs. If you would like to, and I think most of us are ready for this, so I encourage you to try this. So if you have a blanket or a towel here, kind of get it out the long way. And we've all done this before, our little heart opener, thoracic heart opener over our roll up. The fatter the roll up, the more intense the stretch is gonna be. So if you know you're really tight up here, go a little skinnier. So that's gonna get set up here at the top of the mat. And then again, it's the same thing. So as you're laying over this, shoulder blades are gonna be on the far end of the mat. Soles of the feet are gonna be together. You can take hands or blocks underneath your thighs. Another nice kind of little variation doing this is if you have another blanket or a bolster, a big cushion from the couch, you're gonna actually take the soles of the feet together on that. So like the hardest part is kind of just finding the setup. So basically you're gonna feel, just imagine where the bra strap is. So that's where you're your blanket rolled up underneath the thoracic. With your legs up on something, again, you might start to feel too much tug in the groin area, maybe even the lower back. So blocks underneath thighs is really nice here. And I'm gonna actually pull out my timer here. So you find any variation that you want. And with the caveat that if it starts to feel too intense where you're at, you readjust. Probably the most intense is just being flat on your back or having the blanket underneath your shoulders, feet on the floor. But that being said, for all of us, this is gonna feel a little different in our bodies. You definitely will be feeling sensation here. So yin is not a comfortable practice per se. So we wanna be mindful that we're not moving past our edge, moving too deep into a stretch, but we're kind of trying to passively open things up. So there is gonna be sensation and it might be a little uncomfortable. See if you can get okay with that. And maybe you really start to drop into your breath here. Ujjayi breath for many of us can be really nice. It has this beautiful calming quality. So maybe you hold on to that. Maybe you start to count the breath here. And then do make sure that you're not gripping or holding on anywhere. And that's hard to do, especially as we start to, couple things start to happen. Sometimes as we get into these holds a little bit longer, that tension and grip happens. So usually if you can breathe into that spot a little bit, it does start to open up. If you can bring your awareness to the places where you're doing that. But of course, that being said, if you never ever need to come out, take a little child pose. Always listen to that. So some days this works really well. Some days, depending upon what we've done earlier in the week, it can just feel too intense. Can always make the roll up underneath your thoracic a little fatter, a little skinnier. The fatter the roll up, the more intense the stretch. We've got a couple more minutes here. Make sure that you're lengthening the back of your neck. It almost feels like with each inhale, the chest is rising towards your chin. Attention is going to wander. You're going to get distracted by sounds happening outside of the room that you're in. You're going to get distracted by your thoughts. The thoughts may be about this pose and the intensity of it. Just keep reminding yourself to come back to your breath. About 3 more good breaths here. So nice deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. You're just gonna reach down, you're gonna use your hands to help draw your knees in. So if you had your ankles, your shins on that bolster, just step the feet off. And then stretch your arms out in a T shape. And we're just gonna kind of massage out the lower back here. And you can do this even if you don't have the bolster underneath you. It's kind of nice if you have that thoracic blanket. It just kind of gives the upper back a little massage. So as you exhale, start to roll to the right. Left palm comes on top of right. Inhale, open back up. As you exhale, right palm comes on top of the left. Knees fall to the left. Inhale up. One more to each side. Exhale, fall to the right. Inhale up. Good. Exhale, fall off to the left. Inhale up. And then exhale, just roll off to the right. Use that left hand to help you press on up. Good. And we're gonna set up for our next little pose here. So we're gonna come into a version of dragon pose. And again, you can just watch this really quick to kind of see what options are available to you. I do recommend having blocks handy. So we can just approach this from a tabletop position. Like I said, you can just watch here. So we're gonna take our right leg forward, and then we'll have that back knee down. And then you're just gonna, couple of options. So you can be a little low flying dragon here, melting this left hip flexor down. Maybe you wanna press into your thigh, so you're more of a high flying dragon. And this is all just gonna shift where you get the stretch. You could also, maybe it feels a little steadier to have your fingertips on the blocks. And I want you to have that sensation of the blanket underneath your chest here. The final option, the most intense option, would be to lower onto your forearms. So you're a low flying dragon, or forearms could be on blocks here. If this upright version isn't working for you, you are gonna come onto your back, and it's gonna kind of be like a little half happy baby here. So you can start with legs bent. You'll take either your hand to the outer edge of your right thigh and kind of gently pull down and slightly to the right. You might be able to grab the outer edge of your foot and do that. You can keep this left knee bent, or you can extend the leg forward. So play around, see where you might like to be for this. And you could certainly take a minute in one position, or even 30 seconds, and then shift again. So we're gonna start to move in this direction. Get this going here. All right, so again, can just be melting in. Hands might be on blocks too. Make sure that your right knee is landing over that ankle. You could be upright or hands on blocks here. You might be all the way down on forearms. So that's gonna actually go more into that right leg, the groin, kind of the inner thigh area. And so kind of a big challenge of this yin practice is to remain calm in these poses. And like I said, this isn't like restorative. This isn't easy. This isn't relaxing. There is some effort here, even though we're not trying to grip the muscles. We're trying to kind of just relax in. I know for me, it really, really just helps to listen to the breath. Maybe play, if you're upright here, if you're not on your back, just letting the neck release down. That even might shift where you're getting the sensation.
If you do need to back out from wherever you are, listen to that. And again, as already mentioned, so we're not trying to stretch out the muscles here as we're often doing in our yoga practice. We're really trying to get deeper into the joints, into the tissues. You've got a couple more good breaths here. Nice work, everyone. Okay, so from here, you're gonna rock on up. If you're on your back, you can just stay there and I'm gonna tell you where you can go. But we are gonna start to make our way into our sleeping swan pose. So you will know this as your single pigeon pose in our vinyasa practice. So you're gonna have your right heel pretty close to that left hip. You're stretching that left leg back nice and long. And you also might find if you're really tight in this right hip that it feels really good to take a block or a blanket underneath that cheek. And then we're going to be here for a couple of minutes as well. And your option, you can start to walk your hands in, eventually folding in any amount. You could just stay upright as well. So you're listening to your body and to what you need. And if you're on your back here, you're going to take that right ankle, just cross it above the left knee. You can stay here like this, a little resting, reclining pigeon, or you can hug the knee into your chest and be there. Get curious about the sensations happening in your body. So you're really noticing what's going on. Again, noticing places where you're gripping, where you're muscularly trying to engage. We're not trying to do that in our yin practice. We're trying to soften so we can stretch deep into the fascia, the joints, the ligaments. Got a few more good breaths here. Back out if you need to, melt in a little more if you can. Good. Start to come on up if you're not already. Okay, so we're gonna take this leg that's behind the left leg, gonna reach it up and over, and we're gonna come into our little half butterflies. So this is like our Janu Shirshasana pose. So this left leg is extended forward, sole of the foot is into the inside of the right thigh. You might find that it feels you get a little more rotation in your hips if you sit up on a blanket. So that can be a really nice variation. And then also if you have a cushion or a block, we're gonna eventually start to fold in, unless folding forward doesn't feel good here in your body, in which case you could just take a strap around the foot. Otherwise, so this isn't going to be pretty. You don't have to flex this foot. It's the one time I'm not going to be yelling at you to do that. You can kind of let it relax, but then just start to melt in. And you can also use a block here. So it's not that we're being sloppy, but again, we're trying to trigger this stretch in the joints. It's absolutely okay if your back rounds a little bit here. And if you are on your back,
you can actually do this. We're not going to have the forward fold element, but your left leg will be extended, and then the sole of the right foot will be to the inside of that right thigh. And then again, maybe you're just sliding a block underneath that knee. Arms can be by your side. You could even reach them up overhead or take cactus arms so you get a little stretch in the chest. Listening to your breath, paying attention to your body, making all these little adjustments. And also just feeling your way into the pose. A few more good breaths. Good. So if you're seated, just starts to make your way on out. If you're on your back, hug that right knee in and then hug both knees in. Rock and roll a little bit from side to side. So for those of us that are seated, let's just cross our left shin in front and then rock forward. And we're going to set up for our second side. So we kind of know where we're going, which makes it a little easier. So we're going to come into some version of our dragon pose. So you're going to step that right foot forward, slide the back knee as much as feels good in your body. Hands can be on blocks here. You might be upright or hands on blocks. You might come in a little deeper. If you're on your back, you're holding the outer edge of that left foot and then gently pulling down. If you can't get the foot, you're holding the inside of the thigh and kind of pulling down and at an angle. You can keep your right knee bent, or you can extend that leg to straight, and I'll just give you guys a visual on that for anybody who might be needing to see that. So you're either here or you could be holding. And then you could also have this knee bent. How does this side feel different in your body? Does it feel different? I did this last night, and the two sides were completely different for me. One I was able to get in much deeper than the other. That's okay. You can even visualize your exhale, your breath going to the places that are where there's a sense of intensity here. Nice work, everyone. This is one of those yoga practices that is pretty damn intense in the moment, but you're going to feel really, really nice the rest of the day. Actually, I think that's mostly true of any yoga practice, but you know what I mean. All right. So wherever you're at, you're going to kind of make your way out of this. We're going to set up for that sleeping swan. If you're upright, if you're on your back, you're going to come into your reclining pigeon on that left side. So across the left ankle, above the right knee. And then here again, right or left heel rather, pretty close to that left hip. Stretch back nice and long through that left leg. Maybe you sit up on something and that will help you to melt in. And again, you're just kind of letting everything relax here. So when we're doing this pose, our single pigeon classically in a vinyasa class, I'm always encouraging you to flex the foot. You don't have to do that here. You do want to make sure that there's no sensation in your knee though. So if there is any pain in the knee, I would advise that you actually just come onto your back. And again, however far you fold in is entirely up to you. This side might be different. Keep that breath moving. And just feel this gentle release, this shift that's starting to happen in your body. Notice that. Let go of the grip in places where this isn't feeling good. Beautiful work. Okay, so as we inhale, you start to make your way out. So if you're on your back, again, you can just stay there. Just give both knees a little squeeze into your chest. So we're going to start to, if you're upright, you're going to transfer the weight into that left sit bone. Swing that right leg forward. So sole of the left foot is into the inside of your right thigh, but then you can kind of relax. If you're on your back, you can come into your tree pose on your back. So you'll extend your right leg to straight, bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the thigh, and then you'll probably want to snuggle a block underneath there. And then you can take your arms in a cactus shape or reach them up overhead. If you're upright here, start to fold in. Doesn't have to be pretty here. In fact, I encourage you to make it ugly. Lay over a bolster, maybe lay onto a block. Absolutely okay to start to round the spine. It's even going to feel as though your chin is coming towards your chest a little bit. Again, getting curious about how this side might feel different in your body. Just inviting in this idea of letting go of any resistance. Even inviting in the idea that it is okay to be a little bit uncomfortable. We've got about 5 or 6 more good breaths. Good. From here,
As you inhale, start to roll on up. If you're on your back, take your hand to the outside of that left knee, just draw it in, give both knees a squeeze into your chest. If you're upright, use your left hand to draw that right knee in, or left knee in, hug the right knee in, give yourself a squeeze here. And we're going to transition into our Shavasana. So we do have this, if you have that longer roll up still available, it might just feel really nice here to take that the long way on your mat and then lay back on that. And then here again, maybe you'll want to take a little something, a little support underneath your knees. You can also just come into a classic Shavasana. But if you're curious about what this looks like, you're going to snuggle the blanket up to your, the small of your back. And then you're going to melt on back. And then just, again, play with your arms where they feel good. Extend the legs. Again, something underneath them might feel really nice. You can always have your knees bent, feet wide, knocking in towards each other. And then whatever variation you're in here of your Shavasana, notice how good it feels. So there's just a lot of ease here. The effort is done. So really melt into this. Really allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Let your breath be soothing to the brain, to the mind. Soothing to the body. And just be here a couple of moments. Good. Take a deeper inhale. Open the mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Begin to bring a little movement back to your body. So wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out. Maybe reach your arms up overhead. And then very softly, very gently, roll to one side or the other. Maybe go to the side opposite of what you usually do. For a lot of us, that's the left side. Just hang out there a moment. And then you're going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Enjoy the sense of ease with which you're sitting here. Notice that space, that length, that height you've created. Notice how good your breath feels, how steady, how even, how deep. And just notice how calm and focused and easy you feel here. Send your body love and gratitude for showing up and making the effort. It's not always easy, but it does make a difference. And finally, just promise yourself that you're going to carry this feeling with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart, bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today. Thank you. So good to see all of you. Namaste.